In today's video I would like to share some build ideas that I have for Atk-Def Unity in the context of AR defense. So why Atk-Def Unity? Because I think this skill is pretty relevant with respect to the current meta. Players in AR offense do not shy away from using debuffs and panic. They have panic manners, shrines, chills, attack smoke equipped on the AR offense tank. They use daggers such as Layla, Duolin, Air in Light Season. Another detail which is worth noting, some players in ARD are scared about panic. That is why they do not want to use visible buffs. I do use them because I have a staff healer with Restore Plus, and because I believe without defense buffs my unit will likely die. With Unity skill, you shouldn't worry about panic and debuffs because it takes care of it. It solves the entire problem. So you can safely use Attack Tactic and Def Tactic on your ARD. You can also use Attack Def Gap. The ideal candidate for Atk-Def Unity is a unit who wants both high attack and high defense, which probably means the speed is low or at middling level. So the ideal candidate is someone who can negate follow-up or has some kind of damage reduction. Either way, it means this unit is likely to survive, very likely to survive a follow-up. This build that I have for Duma is disgusting. It's pretty good and I am pretty satisfied with it. Another possible build is Atk-Def Unity with Bolt Fighter, Escutcheon, and Fortress Death Raids Seal. Why? Because after all, Duma is a mythic. He cannot be blessed. I want him to take the hit from Dark Shrine, so that will activate Def Unity. But that also reveals one problem with Unity. The first problem is that Def Unity protects your Def stat, but not the Res stat from the debuffs. I do not consider it as an important factor because most threats, the biggest threats in AR offense, they are almost always physical units. You don't see mages often, and dragons are non-existent. So even if you take a hit on your res, in general this will not change anything. Now there is still another problem with Unity. It is the condition within two spaces of an ally. If you equip Unity skill on your frontline tank in ARD and someone baits your frontline tank, this unit of yours will move two spaces away from the allies, and now the Unity condition is gone, and that's pretty bad. But still there is an option, a solution, and this is called a trap. It could be a rally trap, restore trap, healing trap, or more recently rescue trap or return trap, targeting your frontline tank in such a way that if a frontline tank goes and attack, the Unity skill condition is still fulfilled. And that is good. This is how you want to play with Unity. You want to make sure your defense stay compact and everyone stay together, close together with each other. So now let's move on to other builds for other units. All of these that you will see now, they will consider 3 mythics in defense. The future of AR defense now probably is that you should be aiming for triple mythics. If your units all die in one single turn to Vantage Winter Altina, that is pretty bad. You want them to survive. This is so important. The bulk is important. Speed and defense is very, very important. So you should consider 3 mythics. And everything you see now, consider 3 mythics in defense. So you know about dual Alphons. Open the future, the damage scales based on defense. So you know about Atk-Def Unity. He will hit really, really, really hard. And Death Raids Oath is nice too because he gets +5 defense. Of course, you can also use Times Pulse if you have a fodder. And now you have Leaf. You can replicate the same build on dual Alphons for Leaf with Wings of Mercy. Mine has steady impact, but the reality is that Atk-Def Unity works on both phases and it has more potential. In best case scenario, you can get up to 11 or even 17 attack and death boost during combat, which means your Open the Future will deal crazy amount of damage. You have now Sigurd. I think he's a good candidate for Atk-Def Unity, but again this guy is a Cavalier, so use a Rally Trap or Restore. Even if he gets free movement, the Unity skill is still active. Divine Tear Think is good because it gives +10 defense on top of a Atk-Def Unity boost during combat. So you get +6 attack and death boost, visible buffs. So that means Def Unity is pretty strong. The good thing about Divine Tear Think too is reducing first magic damage and Crusader's Ward reducing magic second damage. So even if you make follow-up against him, he will probably survive both attacks. Either it's melee or physical or magic. And this is why I am considering Brazen Atk-Def. When Brazen Atk-Def is active, he is pretty scary. Now you have Norn. Some people use her in AR offense, but I always thought she is probably better used for AR defense. Thanks to her being easy to get to +10, she has also access to Spendthrift Bow, and she is the infantry, which means eventually infantry pulse, or the fact that because she is infantry, there is no armor effectiveness or cavalry effectiveness working against her. You would ask why no follow-up? Because 40 speed is pretty, low in today's meta. The fact is, I do not believe Norn should be concerned about Marita or Fallen Ike, because Brave Edelgard or Brave Actor will hit a lot harder. And you need no follow-up against them. You don't want, for example, Brave Actor activate Bonfire and make another follow-up on top of a Bonfire. That would be deadly. So no follow-up is good. Probably better than low attack speed on Norn. A Milady. So you would think this is odd, this is weird, because Unity and Wyvern Flight they don't work well together. That is true, but let me explain something. If Milady is not the target of any debuffs or panic, she gets +6 to attack and speed. Attack and death. Visible stat. So that means Wyvern Flight is becoming pretty strong. If, however, she is both panicked and debuffed, the visible defense stat will go down. And Wyvern Flight is not active against high defense tanks such as Brave Edelgard, but that also means if Milady attacks Brave Edelgard, she will probably get under 50% HP, but she will not die. And that is the most important thing to remember. She has instant lance. Instant lance is a sturdy impact lance. Brave Edelgard cannot make a follow-up. So you can have, for example, Lysithia making a follow-up movement with Wings of Mercy, hitting with Moonbow instant special, or you can have Milady danced. I consider Deflect Magic on Milady because she's not very fast, so mages will have no problem making a follow-up. But the good thing about Wyvern Flight is that she has such a high defense stat that even if she's both panicked and debuffed, the visible defense will probably remain a lot higher than any typical mage. So Wyvern Flight and Def Unity will be active both at the same time, along with attack speed rain. So I think Deflect Magic can save her life against fast mages in AR offense. Also, I consider pivots here because I think it is important as a assist skill for melee frontliners, for Ashna as well. Atk-Def Unity, Guard Bearing, Atk-Def Rain, and his wonderful Gurgurant weapon. I do not expect Ashna to get many kills, and that's not the main point. What he wants is, for example, using pivots on a range threatening units such as Bramimon or Frasir. Pivot will allow Ashna to position himself and moving forward in such a way that if they want to attack Frasir or Bramimon, they have to go through Ashna first. So this is why I considered pivots for Milady and why you have seen pivots on Duma, and I think, it's true. Pivot worked pretty well on Duma. And now you have a ranged armor unit. They are good candidates for Atk-Def Unity. Cecilia is a dagger unit, so she has access to Courtly Mask, and that is awesome because she will get doubled on player phase, and Courtly Mask will reduce the damage from first attack. So you have Atk-Def Unity Bolt Fighter. View Special, I think it's better to use Bonfire instead of Iceberg, just because of a Atk-Def Unity skill. It will probably become stronger if she hits with Bonfire, with this kind of build. And lastly, you have the best. Valentine Faye is probably the best user of Deadeye, along with Legendary Chrome. Spentrit Bow, Deadeye, Atk-Def Unity, Bolt Fighter. She has such a high defense. If you combine with Def Unity, Spentrit Bow, even on player phase, it's not easy for you to kill her. And if you let her attack, initiate, she activates Deadeye, and that is game over.